Hello everyone, this is Dr. Neeta and I welcome you all to our YouTube channel for this e-learning platform of our Montessori courses. Now, under Neeta Training and Consulting Services, we are having Montessori Teachers Training course, Nursery Teachers Training course, Early Childhood Care and Education course, and Teachers Training course. These four courses are for pre-primary teachers training, and DLEd is there, or Diploma in Primary Education is there for primary teachers course. Now today we are starting the series for the pre-primary courses, whatever four courses I have just mentioned. Today we will start with phase 1, wherein we are having principles of education. Within principles of education is there for uh, DEd. For pre-primary, principle and approaches to teaching young learner is the first phase. So within this first phase we are having 5 different approaches. First approach is Maria Montessori's approach, then there is Froebel's approach, then Jean Piaget, John Dewey. All these approaches are there. So we will discuss it one by one. I will post separate PPT for all. One or two PPTs I share for Montessori method, because Montessori method is very important. Take it for learning. It's not point to point, just like we used to learn in the classroom. So take it more for the learning purpose, so that you can utilize all these skills in your classroom for hands-on, rather than just clearing the paper or assignments. So take it for learning. That is what is my humble request to all of you. So let's begin with this, wherein we are starting with the Montessori methods. Let's begin with the introduction of Maria Montessori. Maria Montessori, the Italian doctor who revolutionized education for young children. On 31st August 1870, in a small Italian town, Maria Montessori was born, a girl who was destined to become one of the most outstanding and best known personality of the world. Soon her family moved to Rome. When she grew up and at an early age revealed great quality of heart and mind. She was one of the first girls to follow a full course of secondary education and thereafter applied for admission to the medical faculty of University of Rome. Against tremendous opposition and obstacles, she graduated as a doctor in medicine and surgery, the first woman to do so. 2 years later, she focused national attention on herself by addressing the National Conference of Education. Training for moral education. Though herself a doctor, she claimed that the problem of social, mental, and moral deficiency was one that concerned pedagogy rather than medicine. The speech made such an impression that the Minister of Education invited her to deliver a course of lecture on the subject, and soon afterward placed her in charge of an experimental institute of training teachers for mentally retarded children. During a period of 2 years, she worked with a two group of these children and achieved most impressive result. A profound study of experimental psychology, philosophy strengthened her conviction regarding education, and she looked forward to an opportunity to start an educational experiment with normal children of primary school. She was approached by a director of building society who requested her at the end of 1906 to organize and direct a kind of playroom for children below 6 years whose parents were daily laborers. On 6 January 1907, the first House of Children was opened with about 40 to 50 children between 5 to 6 years of age. Dr. Montessori started her work in this institution, which was formed by philosophical realization by the children and not by ideas and theories throughout and applied by adults. Within a few years, its fame had spread over all the 5 continents. The tremendous influence of all modern trends and methods of education was acknowledged in 1950 in the most impressive term by the then General Director of UNESCO at function organized in honor of Dr. Montessori. The Montessori method distinguished itself from all other educational methods of recent origin by its continuous development and increasing expansion. It has created a social movement around the child as a personality which is of immense value for human upliftment. Recognition of this fact was shown universally when her 80th birthday, Dr. Montessori was awarded Nobel Prize for Peace was supported on a large scale both by government, private bodies and individuals. She was active till the moment of her death. She died at the age of 82 years, by which time she had received worldwide recognition and distinction. So, in short, we have seen the work of Maria Montessori. Again, ahead of this PPT, we are going to see step by step youth and education. So Maria Montessori was the only child of successful government official. Her family was moved from Rome, or from Italy to Rome when she was 5 years old. Then Maria Montessori was the first woman ever in Italy to graduate with the medical degree that we have already seen. A feminist doctor and researcher. Maria ran her own medical clinic by the time she was 29 years. So at that moment of time, you might be knowing that there was no special education for women, because for women it was very specific that they have to run the family, take care of home and children. So that's why higher education was not supposed to taken by women. Only it was this facility was there for the male. But she was the first lady of her time. Actually, she wants to learn and acquire these are all degrees. So she used to go to boys high school, wherein she was the only girl, and in the same way she has done her all schooling and all her college education, and she become the first physician. She has taken medicine degree, and actually she break all the records, and she was the first lady who has taken this much education. The child is not taught but learned to learn. This is a very, very powerful sentence that Maria Montessori made, and actually she revolutionized the world of education by her sentences. Just like this is one of them. Another sentence is education is a self-directed and natural process. She used to say these are all things, and that was actually first time in this whatever educational world was there that was shook with her statements. So working with disabled adults and children, Maria Montessori developed a theory. So first she worked with these kind of children, normal children, disabled children, mentally retarded children, abnormal children, and then actually her work has converted into theory. Generally what happened, first theory created, then experiment happen, and then it becomes the philosophy. But here in Montessori case, she has experimented all things, and then actually theories have developed. And also Montessori was developed influenced by all these people. Jean Piaget is there, Edward is there, then Friedrich Probel is there, Itard is there, Sigan is there. So all these people actually influenced her because they were also doing similar kind of work, and she has learned a lot from these personalities. The Casa di Bambini. So, as we have already seen in the first slide itself, that her whatever building director was there, he knows whatever work she is doing, and that's why he requested her to start a playroom wherein these laborer kids may spend some time, and that's how actually Casa di Bambini came in existence. Casa di Bambini is the name in Italy, and here we used to call it a house of children. So this house of children was specially mean for a simple kind of playing thing. It was not any form of school. These children were laborer children because both the parents work, so where these children will stay, and that's why this kind of facility was started by on request, and that's how actually Maria Montessori was used to monitor it. But she actually take it as a opportunity, and she tried many experiments with these kids, and she has introduced research based apparatus, and she has found wonderful result out of it, and that is how we have got all different kind of Maria Montessori's apparatus that we are going to discuss in upcoming slides. So the most important aspect of Maria Montessori's Casa di Bambini was the child-friendly environment was there. It was totally created and made for children only. It was not adult-oriented environment. It was only and only child-focused environment, and very much friendly environment wherein the playstations were there, different kind of playstations. If it's an art room, there will be different kind of art related thing. Papers will be there, colors will be there, pencils will be there. If it's a kind of musical room, music station, so there will be different instruments which they can play, which they can actually do whatever they want to do with those kind of things. So complete freedom was there. So child friendly environment was there. The children were thriving. Maria observed and assessed as she formed her method. So firstly, actually as she says, ki it's a self-directed process. Learning is not something which can be imposed, but they have that instinct and they will learn, or they should learn all these things by themselves. So that's why only environment was created. She says adult only has to help them by creating that environment. Rest thing they will do. And that's why actually we can see in all the kind of Maria Montessori's method that they are just means we as an adult, we are just facilitator. Everything they have to do by themselves. So learning through doing was her first aspect of learning. So, in Maria Montessori's method, the function of the teacher is to provide educational material and then act as an advisor or guide, staying as much in the background as possible. So, nothing, mostly there is no role of teacher in Maria Montessori's method. As I have already says that it's a self-directed process. She always, her statement is learning is self-directed, natural and self-directed process. So as it's self-directed process, there should not be any intervention in between, and someone should not guide you each and every time, but just whenever it is needed. So there will be one person who can help them whenever they want that help. Otherwise, it's a very specific in Maria Montessori's method that we should not intervene them. We should not actually break their spontaneity. Whatever time they want to repeat one experiment, they actually has to do it, and we don't have to break any kind of spontaneity, because if we are doing that, we are making them lose their confidence and they will not try doing it again and again. Generally, whenever children, she actually observed this mentality of children, and she find that child loves to repeat the experiment, and until and unless he or she don't get succeed in doing that particular experiment, she or he may get repeatedly doing that particular thing. So that is what is the charm, that is the beauty, how they are learning. And if we are telling them this is not, it should be done like this should not be done like this, in this way if you are telling them, then actually they will lose their confidence and they could not perform it by themselves. So that's why it's very strict rule in Maria Montessori's method that we should not break their spontaneity, and we have to make them learn by themselves. Whenever they are doing it wrongly, teacher has to demonstrate it again. Firstly, teacher will demonstrate how particular apparatus can be used, and then if the child is continuously doing it in a wrong way, at that moment of time, once child will finish, teacher will again show the demonstration. That is only the role of teacher, means she will be only a guide or facilitator. So scientific observation has established that education is not what the teacher gives. Education is a natural process spontaneously carried out by human individual, and is acquired not by listening to word but by experiences upon the environment. The task of the teacher becomes that of preparing a series of motifs of cultural activity spread over a specially prepared environment, and then refraining from obtrusive inference. Human teachers can only help the great work that is being done, as servants help the master. Doing so, then will be witness to the unfolding of human soul and to the rising of a new man who will not be a victim of event. but will have the clarity of vision to direct and shape the future of human society. So these are the few kind of material Maria Montessori's method is having. Sensorial material is there, shape related material is there, numeric, that is mathematical or logical material is there. So other notable achievement also Maria Montessori is having. She has also received Nobel Prize. Today we are actually able to see Maria Montessori through kindergartens, preschools and private schools.